Come on in and let me know where you are watching from. My throat is really starting to feel sore, so I'm not sure how long I'm going to actually be able to stay on here because today is the worst. I was feeling fine, but now the more I'm using my voice, I was on a coaching call earlier, and so now the more I'm using my voice, the more it's starting to feel a little sore. So, but I did want to come on and go live because it has been almost a week. It's been too long, right? So I've been going live on TikTok pretty much daily for May and June. And then I did cut back on it a little bit in July. And in August, I really want to pick it back up and be going live daily again. However, I caught a little cold. I caught a little summer cold or something that's just, it's trying to play or hate on, it's trying to hate on a player. But we're not going to have that. We're not going to have that. I might have to make some tea or something because we got a lot to talk about. So come on in. Let me know where you are watching from. I see Stella. I see Kendra, Antoinette, Martha, Glenda, Mimi. Y'all come on in and say hello. We got a lot to talk about. Tell me in the comments, what kind of work do you do? Do you work remotely? Or do you work in an office, or do you leave your home to go to work, right? So let me know in the comments if you're working remotely, like at home, or if you are working, you have to leave your home and go to work every day. I'm really curious to find that information out. We've got a lot to discuss here with the future of work. So I'm sure you've heard that there are a lot of people who are afraid about numbers they're hearing in terms of AI taking people's jobs. And, if you've followed me, you've heard the stat that in 2018, 60% of those jobs did not even exist in 1940 or 1944 or whatever, right? So what that says to me is that, yes, AI, and not only says to me there's data to back it up, not only will AI truly take some jobs, AI is also going to create new jobs. And that's what you need to know. AI is also going to be creating jobs, right? And we've talked about this before that, the problem is there's not enough people who have the skills to step into the roles that AI is creating. So we really have to change our frame of reference and how we're looking at this. So I see remote in the comments. I see going to their job. So we've got a good mix here, right? So we've got to really look at it, and we have to stop blaming some foreign entity. And when I say foreign, that's the equivalent of external entity, right? Like we've all heard about immigrants supposedly coming and taking black jobs, right? So that's an example of an external entity or enemy that is here to take your job. And the reality is, whether you are working for yourself or you are working for someone else, your ability to earn an income and how much income you earn is predicated upon one thing and one thing only: the value that you provide. Okay? So the one thing we all have to wrap our heads around, I'm sure in 1940 or 1944, they were saying the same thing about whatever it was in 1990 or 1940, 1944. That was the equivalent of AI. In the 90s, it was the internet, right? As late as 10 years ago, there was concern about, in a place that I worked with having quotes for auto insurance being automated and that taking people's jobs, right? Well, the jobs that they were concerned would be taking didn't even afford the people in those roles the ability to afford healthcare. So is it a bad thing that AI is taking that job? So the real deal is, it's not about AI taking your job. It is about acquiring the skills that are going to be relevant and get you paid today and in 10 years. And that is the real issue. And I've talked about this at length, if not ad nauseum, right? People are concerned about the wrong thing, right? We should not be concerned about AI taking our jobs. What we should be concerned with is upskilling, right? And the main people who are crying about AI taking their jobs are the main people crying about immigrants, and we're complaining about jobs going overseas, okay? So the other day I made a post on TikTok and it showed skills, right? These are the skills you really don't want to waste your time on. And these are the skills that you really should be investing in, right? You cannot come and join me live without hearing me talk about the fact that there are certain skills that are now basically life skills. If you don't have these skills, you're not going to be able to compete in the workplace. And if you can't compete for your ability to earn an income and provide for yourself and your family, that renders you into a very bad situation. A very bad situation. So when I get into this, what is the future of work going to look like in 10 years? Brace yourself, right? You might have to let some of the data, you might have to sit with it. Okay? I welcome you to sit with it and to feel the feels, but don't sit in it too long. Don't feel the feels too long. You've got to develop your plan of action. Your plan of action. Okay? So let's go through this. I found an article from a website called Simply Learn, and it is The Future of Work by Nikita DeGaulle. And there are several articles out there. This article goes into a lot of things, like there's 4 possible worlds. The red world, here technology will allow tiny businesses to tap into vast reservoirs of information. There's blue world, green world, yellow world. I really wasn't too interested in that, okay? So what is the future of work? 10 key trends for the next 10 years. There will be places to work. The best workplaces will have different quiet areas so that workers have choices to where they want to work. So this, again, didn't really, it didn't really seem to fit what we're talking about here, right? It's more so about what to expect in the workplace as far as your work equipment and what your work office and work area might look like. One thing I did find interesting here was all workers at all levels will be using robotic helpers in the future, like Siri or Alexa, to sort through incoming email, schedule meetings, create spreadsheets, etc. Okay, so I did find that interesting. Okay, so let's look at mega trends and job roles. They forecast that only 1 in 5 workers is in current jobs, and that will shrink in the future. Okay, so the jobs that you are in today are not going to be the jobs that you're going to be in 10 years. And you don't want that, right? Because you want to be getting promotions, right? But I don't think you're even going to be in the same line of work. We are on the brink of the next big, I say industrial revolution, but the next big technological revolution. So that's going to call for completely new roles that did not exist. Remember, in 2018, the majority of jobs, 60%, did not exist over 50 years before that, okay? So the same thing is true for right now. The job you're in is not going to exist in 50 years. And I don't know why that really scares so many people. The reality is you should be excited. You should be excited. No one was created to do the same job day after day, year after year for the rest of their life, other than the enslaved person, okay? Occupations related to agriculture, trades, and construction, which in other studies have been forecast to decline, may have pockets of opportunity throughout the skills ladder. In sectors such as education and healthcare, they forecast that only 1 in 10 workers are in occupations that are likely to grow. Pearson forecasts that 7 in 10 workers are in jobs where there is greater uncertainty about the future. So 70% of people are in jobs where there is uncertainty about the future. So my question is, what are y'all doing? What are y'all doing? What are you going to do if you have uncertainty? Are you just going to sit there and be uncertain, or are you going to start creating some passive income? Because if you are, I got something for you, okay? Uncertainty, 70%, okay? Their findings also confirm the importance of higher order cognitive skills, such as complex problem solving, originality, fluency of ideas, and active learning. These will be the most in-demand skills for the future. Their findings also confirm the importance of higher order cognitive skills, such as complex problem solving, originality, fluency of ideas, and active learning. So those of us with big brains, we're going to be okay. Because we think, where the rest of y'all don't. So if you're not a thinker, you might want to invest in learning how to think. Okay? And this is why I say, when y'all say stuff like coaching is oversaturated, no, it's not. Coaching is not oversaturated at all. It's nowhere near. It's just you got to work for it, and you don't want to work for it. You want to just make a post and have clients lined up, and it does not work like that. It should not work like that. You need to be vetting people. You need to be sifting and sorting to make sure that these people that you're working with are in alignment and not energy vampires, for example, okay? Their findings rank knowledge areas, skills, and abilities that will be in greater demand in the future, okay? So the most in-demand skills for the future of work: higher cognitive. These include advanced literacy and writing, critical thinking, and quantitative analysis and statistical skills. So I'm glad I got my MBA, and I'm glad I know how to think. Okay, because that's what an MBA does. That's literally an MBA right there. Doctors, accountants, research analysts, and writers use these. Okay, social and emotional. These include advanced communication, empathy, to be adaptable, and the ability to learn continuously. Business development, programming, and counseling require these skills. These jobs are also amongst the best careers for the next 10 years. Technological skills. These include everything from basic to advanced IT skills, data analysis, and engineering. These future skills are likely to be the most highly paid, right? So your AI prompt engineering would fall into that category. The future of jobs in 2030. Analyzing the major technological and business trends today, Cognizant and ZDNet propose the best jobs careers to emerge over the next 10 years will include virtual shop stores Sherpa, will focus on customer satisfaction by virtually advising customers using the knowledge of the product line. Sounds much like an influencer to me. Personal data broker will ensure customers receive revenue from their data. Personal memory curator, augmented reality journey builder, highway controller, body part maker, will create living body parts for athletes and soldiers. Okay, now it is starting to get a little scary, okay? So the impact, there's going to be an impact of automation with the first wave in early 2030. There's going to be a lot of technological advances. They separate that into 3 areas: algorithmic, automation, and autonomy. Okay, so job interviews in 2030. There's going to be a lot of personality profiling with the help of AI. As soft skills gain importance, more employees will use HR to create personality profiles using social media. So your social media is going to have a lot to do with whether or not you get a job. It already does. It already does, but they just don't tell you that. They look you up on social media, okay? A credit score for skills. One day, companies could automatically score skills using the text that candidates put online. Testing job performance virtually. Employers are already using VR for on-the-job testing, training, and diversity initiatives, and the right brain for the job. Wearable health technology, will be used to find the right brain for the job. Now, I'm going to just be honest with you. When it comes to biometric data, I'm not really interested in giving that to an employer. And so that is why I would rather work for myself. I'm going to just keep it real, okay? And then they have something here that I found interesting, because if you follow me, you know I'm known for saying, get ready, stay ready, and be ready. Or is it get ready, be ready, and stay ready? I don't know, but it's all three, right? So with the advancement in technology, there's a possibility that manual jobs will go extinct in the next 30 years. Here is a list of some of them. Travel agents, taxi drivers, store cashiers, tradespeople, sales professionals at stores, okay? Which jobs are best for the future? Data science, cloud computing, digital marketing, machine learning, artificial intelligence, augmented reality, software development, cybersecurity, okay? What will the future of work be like in 10 years? The adoption of artificial intelligence, expansion of the workplace, including both on and off balance sheet. Okay, so we need to talk about that, because I had to look up, like, I had an idea of what they meant by off balance sheet, so I had to look it up. And by off balance sheet, they are actually referring to freelancers, 1099 contractors. Okay, they will expand the workforce with 1099 contractors. Okay. What new jobs will be created by 2030? Organ donor, organ creator, metaverse planner, augmented reality journey builder, makeshift structure engineer, biofilm installer, earthquake forecaster, algorithm bias auditor, human machine teaming manager. I don't even know what that means. Digital currency advisor, and a rewilder. Okay, so here's what I feel like you need to know from this, that you need to be paying attention to. Number one, and I talk about this in another post, one of the things that we have to understand is that the riskiest place to place your future is in somebody else's hands. Y'all think these jobs, y'all think people who have side hustles, who sell digital products, who do anything outside of working for someone else are crazy. And some of y'all actually think y'all better than us. And the reality is, how many people raise your hand if you know someone in the last year who had more than 10 years at a job and got let go because the job just was eliminated, the company shut down, went away, or whatever? Raise your hand. I know several people. In fact, I know someone who's on like her fourth round of downsizing and being let go and having to go out on a, what do you call that? When they still pay you? I can't think, I'm sick. But yeah, so that's just y'all are willing to accept that as the reality of going to work, yet you think going to work is the safest place and that there's no risk. It's completely wild. Absolutely completely wild. Okay, the riskiest place to put your future is in somebody else's hands, is in working for someone else, right? So here are some old beliefs that we have to deconstruct. We've already talked about one, 9-to-5 stability. If you think working a 9-to-5, the traditional 9-to-5 is going to provide you the most stable and reliable path to financial security, you're dead wrong. And it hasn't in my entire life. I remember back in the 80s, my grandfather built tractors, and every year around Christmas, they would be laid off and not go back to work until late January or February. It was just like usual and customary, right? And I remember when all the car factories shut down and all those people, like I had friends whose one of their parents worked at the car manufacturers, and they went through some really hard times, went from making very good middle class like money to delivering pizza. And you know what that pays, right? Back then it was much less, right? So freelance is the new construct, right? how it's going to offer you greater flexibility and income potential than traditional employment, plus the flexibility, right? Climbing the corporate ladder, right? The good old, the whole go to get an education, go to school, get a good education, and live happily ever after. Especially for women of color, certain marginalized groups, just not the right path for a lot of people, right? Now there's creator economy empowerment, and individuals can build profitable businesses by leveraging their own personal brand and creating content. You can literally get paid to exist. You can get paid for doing the things that you would do in life, right? You know, TT Shop is a great example of that. You know, companies will even send you the product for you to use and record yourself using and talking about, okay? The old way, the old guard was all about hyper specialization, mastering a single highly specialized skill or field. And now, you know, like that's why I call myself a full stack marketer. Like I can do it all. Digital marketing, email marketing, setting up funnels. I can do it all, right? Content planning, strategy, even creation. Though that's the one thing I really don't want anybody to pay me for, because I don't, that's just too many problems for me. But branding, I can do all the things. Community building, I can do all of it, right? So it's like, do you want to be a thoracic throat surgeon or do you want to be a family practitioner, right? Sometimes you might make a little less as a family practitioner, but you have better stability of income. Think about it that way, right? There, you know, traditional education. I still am a believer in education, but having to get it formally from college is not as necessary for securing a good job and achieving success anymore, okay? It's much more easier to create $1 million business as a solo entrepreneur and working a few hours a day than it has ever been in history. It is a great time to be alive, an absolutely great time to be alive, right? My grandfather built tractors for over 30 years, staying with a single employer for many years. Yeah, that's been out the door. That's been out the door, right? Now it's about self-education and adaptability. I know people who've gone from selling like signs to businesses for them to put out on their storefront, to being a teacher, to, you know, people move around and they explore a variety of different interests and things that where they feel that they can make an impact and a purpose, right? And so in order for that to happen, you have to be continually learning and committed to self-education and have the ability to learn quickly new skills that are essential in staying relevant. Like I told y'all, just sales. Everybody needs to learn how to sell. You want to be an asset to an organization, you need to know how to be persuasive. You need to know how to sell. Marketing, right? You need to know some basic marketing tenets, right? Just to compete in the job market alone, you need to know some marketing. So I have a client who purchased Pin Profits Mastery. And then, you know, she started going through the modules and she really wanted to do a strategy session. I don't do a lot of one-on-one coaching anymore, but I will do it as part of the value ladder when someone buys a course that I've created, right? And so we got together, she loved it, and so she bought more time with me, right? So we could get her Pinterest strategized, her TikTok strategized, and, you know, she knows that I offer Digital Boss Academy, DBA, which is done for you courses, right? Done for you digital products, right? And so she has an adult son who unfortunately has a really bad back injury. And so he's not even able to work. And so we were discussing it, and she's like, she really thinks being involved with DBA, not just learning, you know, in selling, because that's going to be great for him to create some income, but also just to be a part of the community, right? To get his morale up, be a part of the community, and have community and meet new people and network, right? And so that's the thing, y'all. You cannot wait, because some of these companies not going to tell you until you show up to work one day and your badge don't work. Not all of these companies are going to give you notice, boo. They're just not. So why would you put your future in their hands and wait, right? I remember the company that I worked for right after college. I worked there for 5 years. I left there the summer right before 911 happened. And after 911, because it was in the travel industry was hit pretty hard, okay? And so what happened is they sent out an email. Oh, it's just not the right way to do this. They sent out an email that they would be doing layoffs. And so everybody was on pins and needles, nervous, wouldn't look at anybody, looking at the computers, right? And so people were getting tapped on the shoulder and called into the room. So the people who did all the tapping on the shoulder and told people that their services were no longer needed, guess what happened at the end of the day? After they did all the dirty work, they were pulled into a conference room and told that their services were no longer needed either. So no one is safe. And I don't say this to be fear-mongering. I say this to tell you, you need to be honing your skills. You need to be developing you. That is your value. Like Myron Golden talks about, and I'm not going to go into it right now, the 4 levels of value, right? And this is really about your personal development, right? Like communication. Like you can add value by being a great communicator. If you're afraid to go live, the number one reason you need to go live is because it's going to teach you how to communicate, right? And sales is a communication skill. You need to learn how to communicate. Those memes that y'all send around talking about, oh yeah, I learned the Pythagorean theorem, but I didn't learn how to do my taxes. I think you kind of need the Pythagorean theorem to do your taxes. At the very least, you need algebra. You need to know how to work them algebraic formulas to do your taxes. If you get a solid education, you should be able to do your taxes pretty easily on your own, unless it's a more complicated situation. Y'all don't want to talk about that though. Y'all don't want to talk about that. Y'all want to complain about the school system when you didn't go to school and do what you were supposed to do when you went to school. Okay? But a lot of those things like finance and taxes and life insurance and that, it's all inside of DBA. And DBA Volume 2 is only $222 while I'm on here live. I'm not going to be on here much longer either because I'm really feeling like I need to lay down and take a nap. I want to just dig my ear out because it is itching so bad from whatever is going on all down in here. Like, and I'm swollen too. I can see it, right? My lymph nodes aren't swollen, so that's good. They were a little bit the other day, okay? So the future of work is you. The future of you is the value that you can provide. The future of work is you doing like I'm doing right now, being able to show up with a message and serve and help and add value. That's the future of work. If you're concerned about AI taking your job, you really need to question yourself and what are you doing to add value to this world? And then enumerate that value. What is the value of what you add to this world? And I'm not saying everybody has to be, some major research analyst and discover how to cure cancer or anything like that. If you're really good at making people laugh, if you're really good at entertaining people, why are you just scrolling on social media and everybody else is getting paid but you? If you're good at making people laugh, if you're good at entertaining people, why don't you create entertaining content and monetize it? Because that is the future of work. The future of work is you being able to monetize yourself and your life. And that may be using digital marketing, that may be using affiliate marketing, content marketing. But it's definitely going to include some marketing and sales skills that you need to learn, and you need to learn now. You need to start learning this stuff. Okay? Basic specialized tasks. I always tell people, look, because I can tell you stories again. I know someone who worked somewhere for over 30 years, and she knew their system inside and out. When they merged with another company, not even a week later, they let her department go because it was redundant. So they let her department go. She worked at that company for 30 years and did not have skills that could transfer easily to another company and be competitive. She was forced to take a job at less pay because she had to get in where she could fit in. Because how can you even say, well, I learned quickly, when what have you learned in the last 30 years? You've been using the same system that nobody else uses with that company, and that company is no longer around. So y'all got to stop working 8 hours for somebody else and coming home too tired to work on your own dreams. You got to stop doing that. You can't afford to do that with the future of work. You simply cannot afford to do that. This whole, I don't want to sell, I'm scared of selling, it's going to come down to, do you want to eat? Because if you want to eat, you're going to have to learn how to sell. And when you try to tell me that you don't know how to sell, you're actually selling. It's not working with me anyway, but you're actually selling. When you go to a job interview, you're selling. Everything to get the interview is marketing. And when you're in the job interview, that is sales. Right? There is some marketing, the way you present yourself, your hair, your clothes, your packaging, the way you speak. That's packaging, so that is marketing. But the way you answer those questions is selling, baby. You're selling. When you're trying to convince your 4-year-old, like I was trying to convince my 4-year-old granddaughter last week, it's okay, mommy's coming back. That's selling. That's persuasion. It's selling. Right? And selling doesn't always have to be high persuasion. That's what y'all be missing out. There's other ways to sell without it being high pressure or really high in persuasion. It doesn't have to be that way. You know, you can use facts, you can use logic, you can use data. There's several ways that you can impact and affect a sale without having to be high pressure. And high persuasion does not always mean high pressure either. So what questions do you have that I can answer? Because I really would love to stay on here longer, but I'm fading. My throat is so, I just want to gnaw right now and just get in my ear and just dig. It is itching so bad. I hope I don't have strep throat or anything like that. So what questions do you have that I can answer? If you want to join DBA, that link is in my bio. You can go to TamiraHamilton.com/DBA. You can also go to DBA Sneak Peek, TamiraHamilton.com/DBA Sneak Peek, and get a free look at DBA also, because your girl is really tired right now. I'm not really even tired. It's just, this does not feel good. And I don't want to keep stressing it by talking. So I'm going to go real soon. But that is the future of work. You are the future of work. Entrepreneurship is one of the top paid skills predicted for the next 10 years. Digital marketing. And the article already told you the ability to think, cognitive thinking, the ability to analyze and assess communications, but also social and emotional, right? You know, some of y'all got to learn how to let go and stop being so controlling. Some of y'all go work for companies, and I know because I've been there when I was younger. Y'all act like y'all literally act like it's y'all business, and it's not. And so you got to learn to back up a little bit. It's not your business, boo. It's just not. Right? One of the things I've had to learn too, as far as emotional intelligence, stop taking everything so freaking personally. That's that surrender. That's to stop letting everything get to you and bother you. That's how people can manipulate and control you. Okay? So I am so sorry, but this tickle is getting worse and worse. So I am going to go. I will, I would love to come back later. I can't promise though, but I will be back as soon as I'm much better and we will talk about this more. Have a good one. Bye. If you're on my email list, you're going to be getting emails from me because that's the best way for me to move right now is email and written posts, right? Written posts. So I will chat with you soon. Bye-bye.